Good morning, Facebook friends and YouTube followers. This is Rich again, back for your first video blog of the day for October 7th, 2014, around 7:07 a.m. in Billerica, Massachusetts. Going to be a on and off sunny and cloudy day. High is going to be in the low 70s. Tonight we could have some thunder showers, and Monday and Wednesday morning we could have some thunder showers. Some news to report: the Boston Celtics beat Philadelphia 76ers by a score of 98-78 in the first preseason game for the Celtics at TD Garden. The TD Garden was only about half full, and also the St. Louis Cardinals beat the Los Angeles Dodgers by a score of 3-1 today, last night, to go up 2-1 in the division series. The Cardinals could close it out tonight, but Clayton Kershaw is pitching tonight. He didn't pitch so hot the first game of the series. Now Clayton's going to try to try to beat the Cardinals and force a Game 5. And that's about it on the news. And my next subject is my continuation series of the top 10 stuff of everything and anything. And now I have reached the top 10 greatest professional wrestling play-by-play announcers of all time. The world of professional wrestling has seen some great announcers over the years. Some of them are very enthusiastic, some of them are awesome, what they call. Some of them have signature taglines and stuff. They root a lot, and they tell a story while they're doing the matches, especially on pay-per-views. And here's the top 10 greatest professional wrestling announcers of all time. Number 10 on the all-time list of greatest professional wrestling announcers of all time, Michael Cole, who's the current voice of the WWE. He does Raw, SmackDown, and all of the pay-per-views. Michael Cole has been with the WWE since 1997, and he's gradually became one of the great play-by-play announcers. He started off as an interviewer, then he did SmackDown and some of the B shows. At first, a lot of people didn't like him, but eventually he grew to become the voice of the WWE, and he actually turned heel in 2011 and had a feud with Jerry the King Lawler at WrestleMania. But now he and the King made up, and he's one of the great announcers right now in pro wrestling. He comes in at number 10. Number 9 on the all-time list of greatest professional wrestling announcers of all time, Ed Whalen. Ed was the play-by-play announcer for the old Stampede Wrestling organization in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, which was run by Stu Hart. He's famous quotes for Malfunction at the Junction and Rena Dini Dawn, and in the meantime, in between time, that's another edition of Stampede Wrestling. Ed was also the play-by-play announcer of the NHL Calgary Flames for many years. He comes in at number 9. Number 8 on the all-time list is Roger Kent, longtime AWA announcer. Roger was the announcer for AWA for over 20 years. He actually worked for the WWE in the expansion period around 1984, hosting Canadian Superstars of Wrestling. Eventually, he did some Madison Square Garden house shows and Boston Garden house shows in 1988. He comes in at number 8. Number 7 on the all-time list of greatest professional wrestling announcers of all time, Bill Mercer. Bill Mercer was the longtime play-by-play announcer of World Class Championship Wrestling in Dallas, Texas. He was a great announcer. Plus, in addition, Bill Mercer called other sports like University of North Football, Texas football games for many years. He was actually the announcer when famous wrestlers Kevin Von Erich and Stone Cold Steve Austin was playing for the North Texas football team. He was also the announcer of the Texas Rangers and also the Dallas Cowboys back in the 60s. And he was replaced by Sven Lundquist. That's an interesting fact. Number 6 on the all-time list of greatest professional wrestling announcers of all time, Lance Russell, an institution for the USWA, CWA out of Memphis, and also he worked for WCW for a few years. Lance was famous for his interview style with Jerry the King Lawler. They were like the Muhammad Ali and Howard Cosell professional wrestling. They come in at number 6. Number 5 on the all-time list of greatest professional wrestling announcers of all time, Joey Styles, the longtime voice of ECW and also WWE. Joey Styles' famous tagline is, "Oh my God!" God! And total elimination! And cat fight! Joey Styles was the first announcer to do a pay-per-view by himself. And most of the time he worked solo on the ECW shows. Once in a while he would have a color commentator like Ravishingly Crude or Joey Styles or Shane Douglas, but he didn't mix with a play-by-play, a color man on these telecasts. And when he went to the WWE, he was kind of watered down. He doesn't do announcing anymore. He works for the WWE as vice president of media. He works on their websites. But I wish he could call a match again. Comes in at number 5. Number 4 on the all-time list of greatest professional wrestling announcers of all time, Bob Caudle, long-time Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling announcer, NWA WCW announcer. Bob was very good in the Mid-Atlantic area. He had a great style for wrestling. He also worked for Smoky Mountain. He called a match pretty good, and he was very enthusiastic. He comes in at number 4. Number 3 on the all-time list is Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon was the voice of the WWE from 1971 through 1997. Sometimes he would exaggerate a lot, or people didn't like his play-by-play style, but he was a great play-by-play announcer. He worked a lot, did a lot of the WWE shows by himself in the 70s and 80s, especially the MSSG house shows. He also, on Superstars of Wrestling, he would also banter with Jesse the Body Ventura, and he was the first play-by-play announcer of Monday Night Raw. It's too bad he doesn't do play-by-play anymore, but we got a heel character from Vince McMahon in 1997, but that's another subject for another day. Wish he would have been a heel commentator. Maybe he could argue with Jim Ross. And he comes in at number 3. Number 2 on the all-time list of greatest professional wrestling announcers of all time, good old JR, Jim Ross. Jim Ross worked for Mid-South, UWF, NWA, WCW, WWE, and SMW for over 30 years. He was one of the greatest play-by-play announcers of all time. He could tell a story while announcing. He was knowledgeable. His famous quote was, "It's going to be a slobber knocker, and business is about to pick up, or Jezebel." One of his most famous announcings was at the Hell in a Cell of 1998 when The Undertaker threw off Mankind off the Hell in a Cell. "Would you somebody stop the damn match? Enough is enough." Jim Ross has his own podcast now, which is pretty good. I wish he would still call WWE matches again, but Vince McMahon doesn't want him anymore. They don't get along, and it's sad though. But maybe one of these days he could come back one more time. And the number 1 announcer of all time in professional wrestling history is the dean of wrestling announcers, the Walter Cronkite of announcers, Gordon Solie. Gordon Solie was the voice of Georgia Championship Wrestling and Championship Wrestling from Florida for over 30 years. He had a great style. He was knowledgeable. He had some of the most famous quotes of all time. "He's so sudden and no question about it," and "souffle." And he was a great announcer, and it's too bad he passed away 14 years ago. I wish he could have announced for the WWE back in the 80s and stuff, but he was so busy with Florida and other organizations. He's the best play-by-play wrestling announcer of all time. And that's about it on that. I hope you're getting to enjoy these video blogs, Facebook friends, and YouTube followers. It's getting to be great doing it every single day. I have at least 3 subjects I do a day, and that's good. Once in a while, I might do a 4th one if there's breaking news or if there's a subject that deserves a 2-part video blog. And the subjects for later on today will be the Major League Baseball on CBS and former NHL player, the last NHL player to not wear the helmet, Craig McTavish. And Craig was a University of Massachusetts Lowell graduate, so we'll talk about him today. And don't forget, Facebook friends and YouTube followers, send me questions privately, private message, and they'll be answered in a future video blog. Have a good day, Facebook friends and YouTube followers. Bye now.